So here we have for this week, we're going to talk about equation of line, equation, linear equation and quadratic equation. So equation of line and linear equation is the same. So we're going to talk about next week equation of line again. So we're going to use linear equation a lot. It's going to be set in different forms, but you're going to talk about linear equation in different forms later on. Okay? Quadratic equation is also equation we're going to solve for this week. So first, how you know if you have equation? Equation is something which have two sides and you have equal sign in the middle. So equation is something which have something equals something else. You're looking at this example, you have this 5x plus 2 equals 4x plus 7. So that's equation. Number 2, what I have x over 2 minus 5 equals 10. So you have two sides and equal sign in the middle. So the equal sign in the middle tells me I have equation. Okay? If you have greater or less sign, different sign, that means you have inequality. But this is equation. We're going to solve equation. So that's how you know you have equation. Now, the equations are different types. You have linear, you have quadratic equation. That's what you're going to solve. Also, you can have equation with exponent 3, equation with exponent 5, higher exponent, okay? And you have more complicated equations also, okay? So this week we're going to focus on linear and quadratic. How you know if it's linear, how you know if it's quadratic. So the linear equation have x and numbers only. So if you have in the equation x and numbers only, I'm using the hashtag for number. So in math, we're using this symbol for number. So any number and x give you linear equation. Quadratic equation, you always have x squared. And you can have also x's, and you can have also numbers. Okay? So it doesn't matter how it looks like. If you have x squared in your equation, it's a quadratic equation. Okay? If you have only x and number, it's a linear equation. So the first one, is it linear or quadratic? What do you think it is?
That's a linear equation.
Linear, yeah.
Linear equation, that's right, linear. How about number 2?
Looks linear to me.
Linear, that's right. How about number 3?
That would be quadratic.
That would be quadratic because I have a square, that's right. Okay? So everybody get the idea? Like number 5, what is number 5?
Quadratic.
Quadratic because I have that square there, right? So this is quadratic also. How about 6?
Linear.
Linear.
Linear, good job. Okay? So looks like everybody understand that, right? How about number 7?
Still linear?
Linear, that's right. You have fraction, but you still have x and numbers. Linear. How about 8? Linear, right? Linear. So if you have square, it's have some word problems you're going to solve later on. Okay, how about 14?
Quadratic.
14 is quadratic. Good job. How about 15?
Quadratic.
Quadratic.
Quadratic, that's right. Okay, let's see what you have there. 16, 17, what is it? 16? What is 16?
That's a linear.
Quadratic.
Oh wait, 16. Yeah.
16 is quadratic. That's right. How about 17?
Linear.
Linear. Looks like linear. Yes. Okay. How about 18? 18 is the last one. What is 18?
Quadratic.
Quadratic. Good job. Okay. So everybody understand which one is linear, which one is quadratic, right? Okay. So now, first you have to recognize what you have. You have equation, which means you have equals. Then you have linear or quadratic. Okay? And now, after you know what type of equation is, there are different methods to solve it. So if it's linear, you solve it one way. If it's quadratic, you're going to solve it in different way. Okay? So first I'm going to start with solving linear equation. So I'm going to start with number 1. So when you have linear equation, the way you solve it, I'm going to write it like a steps. So the first step to solve linear equation is do the parentheses if you have parentheses, but here we don't have. So I'm going to say the first step is get the x's in one side. In one side of the equation. So looking at my equation, I have 5x here and I have 4x here, right? These x's are in the both sides of the equation. You have to move them in the same side, right? In one side, you can move it in the left side or you can move it in the right side, doesn't matter. That's the first step. And I'll explain how to move it from side to side. The second step is get the numbers in the other side. And it's important in the other side, not in the same side. So if you move the x's in the left side, all the numbers have to be in the right side. They have to be in two opposite sides of the equals. And then the last step, step number 3, is going to be divide by the number in front of x. So this is the last step. And when you do that, you're going to get 1x equals number because that's how the solution looks like. X equals number. Okay? So these are technically the steps, and I'm going to show you how to do the steps. Yes, question? Do you guys have questions? Okay. So if you don't have questions, please unmute yourself because I hear some noises and I think you're asking me something. Okay? So now, how you moving from side to side? Okay? So if you want to move something from side to side, you do opposite of it. So let's say I want to move all my x's in the left side. So that means I need to have to move 4x, right? So in order to move 4x over, so this 4x is going to move over. If I move it, I'm going to do opposite. So this is positive 4x. So opposite of positive is negative, opposite of negative is positive, okay? So I'm going to subtract 4x in both sides. So when you subtract 4x in both sides, in the right side here, 4x minus 4x is going to cancel. It's going to give me a 0. Yes, Mario, that's right. Just hold on a second, okay? So 4x minus 4x is going to cancel. That's how you move it over. There is no more x in my right side. Now, what's happening in the left side? So technically, I'm combining all these together. And I'm combining all these together because these are my two sides. Okay? Is it too messy when I put all this stuff? But I just try to explain. Okay. So what happened? You combine it like this. You in the left side, you add in. These are the two sides. Let's do the lines that you see. So in the left side, I have 5x minus 4x. You combine x and x, number and number. So 5x minus 4x give me 1x. And I'm going to bring the plus 2 also in that side. And that equals in the left side, and sorry, which one is that? Right side. I have 4x minus 4x cancel, so only 7 is left. Okay? So that was the first step. Remove the x's in one side. Then you're going to go and do the next step. The next step is move the numbers in the other side. So this is my second step. So what are the numbers? I have 2 and 7. They're in two opposite sides. So which number I need to move, 2 or 7? I need to move 2. That's correct. Why are you moving 2? Because The x is already in the left, so I need to move the number to the right. How you move 2? You subtract it because it's plus 2, so it's going to be minus 2 on both sides. Okay? And then you're going to combine. See, 2 minus 2 cancel. 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. No more numbers there. And what is left? You have 1x equals 7 minus 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. Okay? Now, the third step says divide by the number in front of x. Okay? The number in front of x is 1, so you don't need to divide because you need to get 1x equals something. If I have like 3x equals something, I need to divide by 3 because 3 divided by 3 is going to give me 1x. Okay? So here we are kind of skipping the last step because we already find what is x equals. So x equals 5. That's going to be the answer here. X equals 5. And now I have to classify the equation. What kind of equation is that? Is it identity, contradiction, or conditional? So these are 3 different types of equations. Identity is when is always true. Contradiction means no solution. We have solution here. And if you get x equals number, this is conditional. So the type of equation is conditional. So we have conditional equation. So technically the linear equation, there are 3 types. Identity, contradiction, and conditional. And after you solve it, you can know what it is. After you solve it, you know if it's conditional, contradiction, or identity. Okay? So contradiction means no solution. Conditional is if you get x equals number. And identity is if it's always true. And I'll give you example what that means later on. Okay? Any questions? Any questions in the first example? Looks like no questions. Okay, going to the next one. Number 2 has, we have to do the same steps. We have to get x's in one side, numbers in the other side. Here we have a fraction, but it's okay. We can do fractions 2 ways. We can get rid of the fraction, or we can just work with fraction. Okay? You want me to show both ways, or one of those? Multiply by 2. Yes, that's correct. Yes, so we're going to get rid of the fraction. And in order to do that, because we have 2 in the denominator, in order to get rid of the fraction, I need to multiply by denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 2, because that's what the denominator is. So multiplying by 2, multiplying by 2. Okay? And when I do that, I'm going to write step by step so I can have it. 2 times, so here we have 2 times x over 2 minus 5. So I'm going to multiply 2 times this, 2 times this. We're going to distribute. 2 times x over 2 minus 2 times 5, or plus 2 times negative 5, doesn't matter, equals 2 times 10, right? Okay? Now, 2 times x over 2, 2 you're multiplying up, this is 2 over 1 technically. So 2 up and 2 down cancel. So that was the idea, to cancel the 2 in the bottom, to get no more fractions. So when 2 and 2 cancel, we get x. Now 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, equals 2 times 10 is 20. So this is the equation we have right now, and we have to follow the 3 steps we have. The first step is get x by itself in one side. It's already in one side. Then you elect in the other side. The second step is we want to move this number over, right? And it's a negative 10. Yes, that's correct. So we're going to add 10 in both sides to move it over. And then 10 and 10 cancel, so you get x equals 30. Okay? And it's already 1x, so you don't need to divide. So again, we're skipping the last step. Yes. So we get x equals 30. Now, that's one way of doing it. Some of you are talking about the second way, where you use the fraction of the way it is. So my answer is x equals 30. Let me put that first. So x equals 30. And then I'm going to show you another way, different ways. I'm going to solve the same using different way. When you don't multiply by 2, you can just work with the fraction. So this is the second way. X over 2 minus 5 equals 10. So in order to do that, you can just do the 3 steps. X over 2, just keep it like that. So you're going to move the 5 over. So you're going to add 5 in both sides. This cancel. So we get x over 2 equals 15 because 10 plus 5 is 15. And now here you have to get rid of these 2 in the denominator, right? Technically divided by the number in front of x. In front of x, you have 1/2, right? 1 over 2. So when you divide by 1 over 2 means multiply by a reciprocal means multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 both sides. And 2 up and 2 down cancel. So I get x equals 15 times 2 is equal to 30 again. So you're going to get the same answer no matter how you do it. Okay? Any questions? Okay, I'm going to. So here we go. We have number 3. Number 3 looks like quadratic equation, but we're going to be able to solve it. We're going to be able to solve it. When you do the parentheses, you're going to see for number 3, after we do the parentheses in number 3, we're going to be able to solve it like it's going to become a linear equation. Okay? So some of the equations, they look quadratic, but when you start solving them, you're going to see this quadratic equation is going to become a linear equation. Because if the square cancel, so here we have parentheses, we're going to do parentheses, and when you do the parentheses, if you have another a square, it's going to cancel, and it's going to become a linear equation. So equations like that happen sometimes. So when you have quadratic, do the parentheses, sometimes become linear. Okay, so we're going to do number 3. So I'm not going to show you the method for solving quadratic yet, because this specific equation is going to be a linear. It's going to be a linear in a minute. And, okay, and you're going to see why. So let's start with number 3. The first step here, we have to do the parentheses. Okay, so we're going to do a plus 5, a minus 5. We're going to multiply that. And how you multiply? We're going to FOIL. So I'm going to multiply. That's right. We're going to use FOIL method. Yes. So we're going to multiply. The FOIL method is this. You do FOIL. You do first, which is F, is this one is F. First and first, that's what F. Then O is means go for outside. So this is the O. And then you're going to do the I is the inside, this and this I. And then you're going to do the last. So you're going to do 5 and negative 5 is your L. So you're going to do FOIL. So first you're going to do first and first, so multiply A times A. So let me write it first. So I'm going to start FOIL. If you don't know FOIL, I'll show you another method in a bit. So doing first and first, A times A is going to be A square, right? So I have A square equals. a square, because 8 times 8 is a square. And then I'm going to do O, which is the outside. So multiply 8 times negative 5 is negative 5a. Then you're going to do the I, which are the insides. So multiplying 5 times 8 plus 5a. And then I'm going to do the last, so I'm multiplying 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Okay? And then I have plus 25 in the end. So this plus 25, I'm just going to copy that. Okay? So this is what I get. And I'm going to write it one more time. So F, you're multiplying A times A. That's your F. First, A times A. Then O is outside. So you're multiplying A times negative 5. And then after that, I'm doing I. I is the inside. So I is going to be 5 times A. And then the last is going to be 5 times negative 5. Okay? So when you multiply that, this is what you're going to get. Okay? So far, so good? Yes? Okay. So that's how you do FOIL method. And if you don't like it, I'll show you later on another method. Okay, so now after you FOIL, let's see what's happened. We have 25 and 25. We're going to combine everything to see what's happened, right? 25, 25 cancel, right? Because it's 0. 25 minus 25, 0. The same way with 5a and negative 5a cancel 0. So we have left with a squared equals a squared, right? Okay. Now we're going to move everything in the same side. So we're going to subtract a squared in both sides to move it over. So everything cancel out again. So what is left? Nothing left. And the number for nothing is 0 equals 0. Okay? So we get 0 equals 0. Everything cancels. So this is the case when you have identity or contradiction. When you have no solution or always true. So how you know what it is? So remember, when all the A's cancel out, you have to see what is left. If you get 0 equals 0, so if you get, when you solve it and you get 0 equals 0, that means this is identity. Identity means it's always true, and always true means we have all real number solutions. Always going to be true. Doesn't matter what you put for A, it's going to be a solution. Any number for A is solution. So that means you're going to put all real numbers to solutions. Okay? Everybody understand that? And what you're going to put for answer, you're going to put reals. And weapon sign is going to say, if it says, if you have all real identity, you're going to put reals. Okay? And if it's contradiction, you're going to put no solutions. Okay? Now, any questions on this? Now, what's happened? I'm just going to give you an example here. What's happened if, let's say, everything cancel and you get, if you get 0 equals 5, for example. If A cancel, but let's say this is not 25, this is 20, so or 30, you're going to get 5. So if you get if you get 0 equal 5, then the equation is it's true. It's not true. 0 is not equal 5, right? This is wrong statement. 0 equals 5 is wrong. 0 equals 0 is true, that's why it's identity. But 0 is equal 5 is not true, that's why this is not solution.
Would that be a contradiction as well, or just no solution?
That's gonna be contradiction, yes. Okay, everybody understand that? Okay, so this is equation which have no solution or identity, depends what is left after everything cancel out. Okay, make sense? Okay, see. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the another equation we're gonna solve. See here it says, now number 4 is a little different because number 4, let's do number 4. Number 4 is not exactly solve, it doesn't say solve the equation. Okay, here we need to find the restrictions on x. That's what it says. State restrictions on x. It doesn't say solve the equation. See, the other one says solve the equation. So here, this equation, we don't need to solve it. Okay? We don't need to solve it. And it's equation, that's true. It's given equation, but it doesn't say solve it. It says find restrictions on x. So here we're going to talk about what are restrictions, why you have restrictions. And also, if you notice, the answer is not x equals something, it's x not equal. The symbol is a little different here. Okay? If the equations have x equals, the solution for restrictions is x not equal. So how you find restrictions and why you have restrictions? So looking at the equation has fraction. So we have to think about, so you have x in the fraction, you have x in the bottom and x in the top. So how we get restrictions? What fraction means? Let's think about what is fraction. Fraction means what?
Division.
Division, that's right. Fraction means division. Good job. So division. Can you divide by everything? Think about operation division. Can you divide by any number?
Yes.
Yes. Can you divide by positive number? Can you divide by negative? Yes. Can you divide by 0?
No.
No? That's true. And I'm going to prove it. I mean, you have calculators. I'm going to go. What's happened to my calculator? I'm going to show you why division by 0 doesn't work. So I'm going to clear all this and I'm going to just do 3 divided by 0. Okay? So if I divide by 0, see what's happened. Undefined. Why is undefined? Because the operation division by 0 is undefined. You can divide by 0. Everybody understand that? So there is nothing you can do. You don't divide by 0. Okay? It's illegal. You can't do that. Okay? Make sense? Everybody understand that? So that's where the restrictions are going to come from. The bottom of the fraction, everything down here, cannot be 0. Because if it's 0, this equation is undefined. Doesn't make sense, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bottom of the fraction, which is 2x minus 10, and I'm going to solve it not equal to 0. Because that's my restriction. Okay? So when you have equal and cross it out, it's not equal to 0. So that's my restriction. And then you're going to solve it the same way you solve an equation. You're going to get x by itself, and that's your restriction. Okay? So when you have to find the restrictions on x, you have to get the bottom of the fraction and solve it not equal 0, because it's a restriction. Now, if you have more fractions, you're going to have more restrictions. So you're going to solve the bottom of one fraction, the bottom of the second fraction, not equal 0, and you're going to have more restrictions. Like not one number, you're going to have more numbers restrictions. Okay? So now let's solve this. How you find the restriction? The same way you solve an equation, you're gonna move the x's in one side, they're already in one side. Then you're gonna move the numbers over. So you're gonna add 10 in both sides, right? And then this cancels, so you have 2x not equals 0 plus 10 is 10. And then you're gonna see here you didn't get x equals number, you get 2x equals. Because between 2 and x, operation is multiplication. So you're going to divide by 2, both sides. Divide by 2. And when you divide by 2, this cancel. And you're going to get x equals 5. Actually, not equals 5, right? So that's my restriction. X is not equal 5. Because what happens if you replace x with 5? You're going to get 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 10, when you follow here the fraction, the bottom, when you replace x with 10, with 5, sorry, x is 5 is going to be 2 times 5 minus 10 is going to be 10 minus 10 is going to give you 0 in the bottom. And 0 in the bottom is undefined. So that's why x cannot be equals 5. That's your restriction. Any questions? Any questions? Everybody understand that? Everybody good? Okay. Okay, thank you guys for answering my questions in the chat. I see some of them. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the next one, which is solving another equation. And this equation looks like quadratic also, but again, when I start solving it, I'm gonna get a linear equation, and you'll see why. Okay, so let's start with the equation again. We're gonna start with doing the parentheses, right? Now, looking at this square, x plus 5 square means I have x plus 5 times x plus 5. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to FOIL. We're going to FOIL again. Because x plus 5 square means multiply 2 times by itself. So I'm multiplying x plus 5 2 times. Okay? So we're going to do the parentheses first. So I'm going to start with multiplying. See, the left side have x, parentheses, x plus 10. You're going to multiply x times x and x times 10. That's what you're going to do first. And then in the right side, I'm going to do x times x. That's your f. And then you're going to do the outside. And then you're going to do the inside. And then you're going to do the last. So you're doing FOIL. Somebody already have no solution? Okay. I don't know. We'll see. You guys are going ahead. Good job. So let's do the parentheses first. X times x is going to be x squared. And then I'm multiplying x times 10 is 10x. So plus 10x equals. Then I'm going to do FOIL. So I'm going to multiply x times x is x squared. That's my f. The outside is going to be x times 5 is 5x. And then the inside is another 5x. And then the last two is going to be 25. Okay? So looking at this, I can add these 5x and 5x. I'm going to add those. And I can also move the x over, x squared over. So I'm going to subtract x squared to move it in the same side. I'm going to start moving the x squared first. So look here, this cancel, so it become a linear equation. So you get 10x equals 5x plus 5x is 10x plus 25. So we have equation which is linear. We have x's and numbers only. Now, in order to solve, I need to move x's. The first step is x's in one side. The second is number in the other side. And then divide by x in front of the number in front of x, right? So let's start with subtracting 10x, moving this x over. So it looks like both of the x's cancel, right? Both sides. So what is left? In the left side, nothing is left and the number for nothing is 0. So you have 0 equals what is left in the right side? 25. So that's true. If you get 0 equals something else, which is not true, so this case we have no solution, right? So the no solution tells me because I have 0 equals different number. So this is no solution. And then we have to write what you need to write there. It says if there is no solution, enter no solution. So that's what you're going to enter in the box, in the answer box. I don't think I have enough room, so I'm just going to box this one. So the answer is no solution because when you solve it, x's cancel out, x squared cancel out. So the quadratic equation in the first side looks like quadratic but become linear. And then when you solve it, x also cancels, so we have 0 equals 25, which is no solution. Okay? Any questions? Okay, I'm going to go one more. Or actually I'm going to do one more, and then you're going to take a little break. Okay? So let's do this one. So we're going to do the same way. We're going to do the parentheses. Then after that, I'm going to move the x's in one side, move the numbers in the other side, and just get x by itself. So it's a linear equation, so I'm going to multiply 6 times x, 6 times negative 9, and then 4 times x, 4 times negative 4 times 2. So starting with 6 times x, give me 6x. 6 times negative 9 is negative 54. Then I'm multiplying this negative goes to the 4, so it's negative 4x. And then negative 4 times positive 2 is negative 8 equals negative 1. Okay? Then before I start moving side to side, I'm going to combine. I'm going to add 4x and 6x minus 4x, which is 2x. And I'm going to add the numbers. Negative 50 minus 8 is negative. You can do it in your calculator if you want. It's going to be negative 62, right? And that equals negative 1. Now from here, we're going to do first step, x's in one side. We have already x's in one side. There is no x in the other side. The second step is move the numbers. I'm going to move this number in the other side. So I have to, good job, Laura, you got it. Plus 62 on both sides. Plus 62 is cancelled. So we have 2x equals negative 1 plus 62 is 61. And then I'm going to divide by 2 both sides. And that gives me x equals 61 over 2. Now, let me explain something. Which one is better to write? 61 over 2 or 30.5? Let me tell you something. Web assign likes fractions. Yes, fractions are your friend. That's right. So use fraction as an answer. Because some fractions, when you change it to decimal, like this one is good, it's going to be 0.5, which is good. But if it's like 61 over 3, it's going to be 0.33333, and it's repeating number continue forever, and you have to round somewhere, and WebAssign is very picky, so WebAssign is going to say it's wrong. Okay, we're going to talk about how to put the answers later in WebAssign. I can show you, but right now, just keep it as a fraction. So remember, if you get a fraction, keep it as a fraction. You just put 61/2. That's it. That's how you enter your answer. Okay? 61 over 2 is your answer. Now, classify the equation. Is it conditional, identity, or contradiction? What is it? It's a conditional, that's correct. So if you get x equals number, it's conditional. Identity is always true. Contradiction is never true. It's wrong. It's not solution. Okay? So that's how you do number 6. We're going to take a little break, and today we're going to try to finish only the linear. We're going to try to do like 1 or 2 more, and you're going to finish the rest of it on Thursday because I want to show you today how to do some of the web assignments. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to continue. Okay? We're going to continue with number 7. And in number 7, we have another equation we have to solve, which is a fraction. So when you solve fraction, we talk about that. We can get rid of the fraction, that's one way, or you can work with fractions, whatever you want to do, okay? So do you guys want to get rid of the fractions first?
Yes.
Yes, let's do that. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the fractions. So the bottom of one of them is 27, the other one is 3. So if I multiply both sides by 27, because 3 is divisible by 27, so if I multiply by 27, 27 divided by 3 is going to give me 9, right? And I multiply the other side by 27. So 27, 27 cancel. And here I'm going to divide by 3. 27 by 3 is 9, right? So when I do that, I cancel the fractions, no more fractions. So what is left? I have 4x plus 1 equals 1 times 9 is 9. So we have 4x plus 1 equals 9. Let me write it better. And then we have the equation. We're going to subtract 1 in both sides. And that's correct order. You're going to get, subtract this, cancel. So you have 4x equals 8. And then you're going to divide by the number in front of x to get 1x by itself. So divided by 4. And that gives me x equals 2. And that's my answer, x equals 2. Okay? So when you have fraction, equation fraction, you cancel the fraction first and then solve it the way you solve linear equation. Okay? That was number 7. And then you're going to do number 8 the same way. So now looking at number 8, what you're going to cancel here, what you're going to multiply to cancel, the denominators are x and 2. So what I'm suggesting is multiplying both sides of the equation by 2 and x, because we have 2 and x in denominator. So I'm multiplying by 2x. And when I do that, I need to distribute 2x. Python already got it, x equals 2. Okay, let's see. So multiplying 2x times this, 2x times this. So multiplying both of the fractions by 2x. So I'm going to rewrite it step by step. So it's going to be 2x times 3 over x plus 2x times 1 over 2 equals 4 over x times 2x. So this is what we have. Now, what's happened? X up and x down cancel, right? Now, in the second fraction, we have 2 and 2 cancel. And then the other side, x and x cancel. And then let's see what is left. All the fraction, all the denominators are gone. They cancel. So what is left? We have 2 times 3. It's 6. Plus 2 cancels, only x is left. Equals, I want to get x equals 2 also. So let's see. 4 times 2 is 8. So when you see what is left, write it down. We have 6 plus x equals 8. And then you're going to, x is in one side already. We're going to subtract 6 to move it in the other side. And 6 minus 6, 0. So you have x equals 2. That's correct. So you have x equals 2. Okay? So that's how you solve linear equation. If it's fraction, get rid of the fraction. If it's parentheses, do the parentheses first. And then move the x's in one side. Move the numbers in the other side. not in the same side, think opposite sides. And then divide by the number in front of x to get 1x by itself. So these are the steps, okay? And then we're going to do number 9 also because it's really easy. What is 5% of 50 liters? So you're changing the 5% to decimal. So this is really easy to solve. We're going to change 5%. You know how to change percent to decimal, right? You divide by 100. Okay, somebody already have the answer. So it's going to be 0.05. And when you multiply it by 50 liters, it's going to be 2.5 liters. That's right. So just simple multiplication here. But you have to change the percent to decimal. And always you're going to have word problems like this. When you're doing compound interest, you're going to do compound interest, simple interest, compound continuous, where you have percentage involved, always the percent have to be in decimal form. So I'm going to write down for 2.5. Okay, so we're going to stop here. We're going to continue next time from number 10. I'm going to